Hello, this is Todd Luck, and it turns out Edgar Rice Burroughs Inc. did hold a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. Special thanks to Christopher Paul Carey for giving me the heads up and answering my questions about what was said there. And the pictures you're going to see from the panel itself are from David Dunstan on Facebook, who was an attendee. We're going to talk about comics and novels, but first I want to talk about the film and television update. I assume what you're looking at here is the properties that are under option for film and television, and they specifically mentioned that Tarzan and Carson of Venus have options under live action rights, but this is old news. Tarzan was announced last year, and Carson of Venus has been optioned for several years now. Option just means that a company has bought the temporary rights to make a television show or movie of a property. Most options don't actually produce anything, and the ones that do can take years, sometimes even decades, before you ever see a film or TV show out of it. However, there is one property here that is beyond the option phase, and that is John Carter of Mars animation rights are now at the deal memo stage with a major TV studio. They're not at the point where they can give any details or say which studio, and obviously it's very tentative, but I would say that it would make sense for something like, for instance, Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block, which does a lot of great adventure series. But I think an animated series for John Carter will work very well if it does happen. And obviously this would probably lead to more things happening with the character, like the figures and merchandise we've been waiting for many years with John Carter, and would probably encourage other productions with other Edgar Rice Burroughs properties. So I think of all the announcements in this video, this is probably the most exciting one, but these others are absolutely no slouch. This year is the 100th anniversary of the Maid novel by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And as part of the celebration for that centennial, Edgar Rice Burroughs Inc. will be producing a trade paperback graphic novel or collection, whatever you want to call it, of Maid, The Three Keys, the terrific 3-issue miniseries from American mythology. And it will include a brand new backup story written and drawn by Mike Wolfer. And so mystery is solved about what Maid comic Mike Wolfer is currently working on. So that's really awesome. And so it will have a Kickstarter in August, and it will have 3 covers. One will be by Mike Wolfer. Another will be a Frank Frazetta cover, which I assume is the one that we're all thinking about with the naked woman riding the centaur. And then there's a cosplay cover, which I mentioned earlier was something else Mike Wolfer had posted he was working on Facebook. Now, there is a listing for a Maid trade paperback from American mythology that would include the 3 keys. This is a separate listing, and this has been delayed, and I can confirm that American mythology no longer owns the rights to do that trade paperback, so that is not happening. The same is true for their Monster Men trade paperback. These listings just are put out there by algorithms, and presumably if you have put in money for them, you'll probably get it back when it's canceled, or you can cancel it at any time. The 3 keys from Edgar Rice Burroughs Inc. will only include that one miniseries. If you want the first one they put out, Catacombs of the Moon, you need to buy those individual issues, which are available on American Mythology's website or through comic sellers. But I think this is a really cool project. It'll probably be cheaper to get the individual issues of 3 keys, but if you have the money, this is going to be the definitive way to get it with that new backup story. And I'm hoping it tides us over until they're able to produce the sequel to 3 Keys, which was going to be called 2 Against Tyranny, and hopefully get Mariana Puglia back to draw it, which would be amazing, and hopefully get us some more Monster Men. Definitely looking forward to seeing these series continue under Edgar Rice Burroughs Inc. And speaking of continuing the comic series, Victory Harbin's graphic novel is still coming, and there should be a Kickstarter for it before the year's end. And so moving on to novels, this first announcement, there was a cover shown, but unfortunately I don't have it, so I'm just going to use some Mars-related art. They announced that the next Wild Adventures of Edgar Rice Burroughs novel was going to be Dark Tides of Mars by Chris Adams. This will be available to pre-order soon. Now, I don't know who the protagonist will be. Will it be John Carter, or would it be another protagonist? What I can say is it probably won't be Marvin the Martian, but I'm sure it'll be a good novel. And they did show the cover for Korak at the Earth's Core, which will be written by Win Scott Eckerd. And so this will be the beginning of a trilogy with the Tarzan family at the Earth's core. In this novel, Korak will be looking for his daughter Suzanne, who's gone missing in the land of awful shadow, which is under the moon at the Earth's core. And it's also going to have his wife Miriam in it, and you may be looking at her on the cover. And I do believe this slide gives us the first indication of when that novel will take place, and it's in the early 1970s, so that's interesting. They also showed the next batch of Edgar Rice Burroughs authorized editions that will be coming out of the Tarzan novels, and I believe we have Tarzan the Magnificent on your left. In the center would be Tarzan and the Foreign Legion, and then on your right is Tarzan and the Madman. And so there's one more novel in that 4-novel bunch, and that would be Tarzan and the Castaways, which Joe Jusko posted on Facebook that he's working on the cover for that, and that's what you're looking at here, the work in progress by the great cover artist Joe Jusko. Tarzan and the Castaways is actually a collection of 3 shorter Tarzan stories, and it was originally the last published Edgar Rice Burroughs novel of Tarzan. And I'm looking forward to next year because they'll continue reprinting the rest of Burroughs' work, and so we're going to see Joe Jusko's cover on the Tarzan twins and also new covers for the early Mars novels. And the Cosmic Epic and Savage Epic omnibuses collecting the original novels in Burroughs' different series will be shipping soonish. That's a direct quote from Christopher Paul Carey, so expect those to ship out really soon if you have pre-ordered them. And that's it. Sometimes it can be a little discouraging as a fan when you see things like the Lord of the Jungle comic series that was announced for San Diego Comic-Con last year get discontinued after only 6 issues. But the Burroughs properties have characters and stories that have resonated with audiences across multiple media for over 100 years. Generation after generation have discovered Burroughs' works, and they will continue to do so. And it's exciting to hear of new opportunities like the potential John Carter animated series. So I'm crossing my fingers that in a year or two, we'll probably hear some good news about that. Like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, see ya.